I'll do the pledge if you need to. I can do the pledge if you need to. Hey, how are you? Good. This weather can't make up its mind. I was sweating today.
What? And then they freeze us in my building, so it's like wear a sweater to work, but then you go outside and they freeze you. I mean, smother you. Oh no, I don't mind. What am I doing? The pledge? Pledge. Okay. Thank you. Yes, no problem. Yes, ma'am. I need to turn my computer on. It's usually cold in here too.
Yeah.
Sulphur City Council meeting is now called to order for February 9th, 2026. Excuse me. Audio problems.
Got it.
Sulphur City Council meeting for February 9th is now called to order. Ms. Ellender, if you would please lead us in prayer. Ms. Horning in the pledge. Please stand.
Lord, thank you for this beautiful day that we're seeing today, and thank you that you control all that happens in this world. I ask, Lord, that you touch our hearts and keep us mindful of that we only exist because you allow us to. I ask today that you help us to do the business that needs to be done, help us to do it with wisdom and kindness. And I ask that you bless each person represented here. Keep them as they come and keep them as they go. Keep them safe and healthy. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Ms. Ellender?
Here.
Mr. Nazat?
Here.
Ms. Hardy?
Here.
Ms. Abchar?
Here.
Ms. Thomas?
Here. Approval of the minutes.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Roll call.
Ms. Ellender?
Yes.
Mr. Nazat?
Yes.
Ms. Hardy?
here.
Ms.
Yes.
Abchar?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes. Thank you. Approval of the agenda as written with revision.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to add item 6A, resolution approving liquor license for Kings Point 4 located at 3350 Maplewood Drive.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And the resolution, let's see, thank you for reading that. Is there anyone that would like to make a public comment on this particular item? And it is for resolution approving liquor license for Kings Point 6 located at 3350 Maplewood Drive. Any public comments? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Ms. Ellender?
Yes.
Mr. Nazat?
Yes.
Ms. Hardy?
Yes.
Ms. Abchar?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And now we need a motion and a second for the, as amended.
As amended, please.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Ms. Ellender?
Yes.
Mr. Nazat?
Yes.
Ms. Hardy?
Yes.
Ms. Abchar?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes. Thank you. Agenda approved. All right. Number 1, public hearing on ordinance amending the previously adopted ordinance number 1775 MC Series, which subdivided lots for Arena Road Hospitality LLC located at 2580 and 2600 Ruth Street, the Zavora subdivision, to reword paragraph dealing with right-of-ways and work commencing prior to obtaining permits. Ordinance 06-26, Mr. Nezat.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Members of the council, if I could just make a quick comment.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Stephanie Hankins is the attorney that's working on examining this title for a construction loan, and she brought this to my attention. She has Mr. Glenn James here to speak if need be for the council, if y'all have any questions, because she's out of town. Essentially, we looked at this ordinance, and I understood what her request was, because it says, if you'll look at the language that we're asking that be deleted, this subdivision shall be withdrawn and considered null and void if they were to commence any work prior to getting the permits, which is a rather drastic remedy. I don't think that we should take that out of all of our subdivision ordinance language, but on this particular case, it's interfering with their ability to get title insurance. And I've suggested and approved the language that I'm asking that we replace it with, because it's a little more reasonable. We still have all of the other protections. It's just not an automatic penalty if they would make a mistake. So I'm suggesting that the council amend it for this one instance, and that we leave that language. It hasn't caused us any problems in the past, so since it's causing them problems, I would recommend that we amend it.
And would you please share that language so we can all be on the same?
Yes, do you want the language that I'm asking that we take out?
Yes.
Or okay.
Both, if you would.
Okay. The language that I'm asking that we delete, I'm gonna read the whole thing, but I'll give you emphasis on the part that I feel like is a little draconian. It reads, this subdivision is granted by the city of Sulphur and may be withdrawn by the city of Sulphur should said subdivision interfere with the rights and privileges owned by the city of Sulphur pursuant to a pre-existing right-of-way servitude or easement. If withdrawn, any improvements constructed thereon shall be removed at the expense of the owner thereof. And then it says, no work shall commence until all applicable permits are obtained. In the event work is commenced prior to obtaining an applicable permit, this subdivision shall be withdrawn and may be considered null and void. So They talk about removing improvements at the owner's expense and the subdivision being null and void over one mistake. I'm suggesting that we substitute it with this. The subdivisions granted by the city of Sulphur subject to any pre-existing apparent right-of-ways, servitudes or easement currently in use, and any pre-existing right-of-ways, servitudes, easements of record in Calcasieu Parish, Louisiana. Any all improvements are subordinate to those right-of-ways, servitudes, or easements. So we're recognizing that anything that would happen would be subordinate to our rights. And it says no work shall commence on any lot in the subdivision until applicable permits are obtained, so they still have to get their permits. In the event work is commenced prior to obtaining all applicable permits, any owner of a lot in the subdivision shall be subject to all available remedies available at law, including but not limited to fines, penalties, damages, and injunctive relief. So we would have the right to take the appropriate action. We wouldn't just automatically vacate the subdivision and have, make them remove all improvements. So I think I like it
Much
in the
better.
event that we would need to, but I think it's a little draconian.
Well, I think that was mine and a lot of residents' concerns before hearing the reworded language that we're giving up any rights or authority, but the city's actually not.
And
Okay.
I'm not suggesting that we amend it in everything. In this particular one, since it's interfering with their rights, should it become a regular occurrence, maybe we would think about amending the language, but I'm comfortable with this language for this instance.
Very good, thank you very much. Are there no requests to speak on this item? I need a motion in a second, please.
We got one.
We do?
You got it.
Okay, good. All right, so roll call, please.
Mr. Nazat?
Yes?
Ms. Hardy?
Yes.
Ms. Abchar? Ms.
Yes,
Thomas? Ms.
Yes.
Ellender?
Yes.
item carries. Number 2, public hearing on ordinance amending previously adopted ordinance number 1928, M-C Series, that granted a rezone to 2209 Core Lane from residential to business to remove stipulation that states parking and driveway must be concrete. Ordinance 07-25, Ms. Hardy.
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
A motion and a second. Did you want to speak, Mr. Speaker? Okay. Mr. Baden?
Joshua Baden, 630 Alabama Street, Sulphur. So I guess my question is why the requirements was put on this man for having concrete parking? Is there anybody who can answer that for me? Or
Would you repeat that, please?
why the stipulations for concrete was required for parking?
Awesome.
I mean, concrete parking is required by ordinance.
I can't hear him.
Concrete parking is required by ordinance.
For ordinance for what? What is the ordinance? Can you recite it? Or can you read it for us, please, or find it? Because the reason I'm asking is because this is all in District 4.
It's District 3.
It's District 3, sir.
Well, District 3, District 4, they adjoin, but there's a business that's right down the road from us that wasn't required to put any parking lot at all, any parking or concrete. And so the inconsistency with the enforcement is a problem that I guess I have a problem with. If you look at Kuntz's Seafood, which I have pictures, he's been allowed to open. There's been a new building that's been brought in. There's absolutely no handicap rail. It's elevated building, no handicap rail, no handicap walk. It's against ADA compliancy. There's no handicap parking for handicapped individuals. It was never brought before the land use. It was under administrative rezoning, which implies a double standard for those people that have to go before the land use board. There, I also have a picture of an elderly man standing at the front counter today ordering seafood, and no handicap rails, which kind of imposes a safety deal and an ordinance violation. So I'm just kind of wondering why we ask for concrete parking to be enforced for public businesses in one area, but we exclude it in others for particular individuals.
sir. We, Mr. DePato? I'm sure you noticed when you came in, I'm sorry to interrupt you, go ahead, Danny. We have a new system. If you are neither agree or disagree, this is the white card. The green is in approval of, and if you submit a red, then you're in opposition. Mr. DePetta is in support of.
Thank you. Danny DePetta, 5098 Bonin. I'm speaking in favor of this. And what I believe Mr. Dan Smith is asking for is he'd like to put aggregate such as crushed concrete or crushed asphalt instead of paving or concrete. Mr. Smith unfortunately did not know what the stipulations were on this piece of property before he purchased it. And I would also like to add that the zoning commission a couple of weeks ago approved these changes unanimously, so I'm voting in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Roll call vote?
Ms. Hardy?
Yes.
Ms. Abchar?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Ellender? Yes. Mr. Nazat?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 3, public hearing on ordinance entering into a cooperative endeavor agreement with Calcasieu Parish Police Jury for overlaying a portion of Sarah Street, ordinance 08-26.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Ledoux? Approval of, in support of, I should say.
We got to state our name in that, or
Yes, sir, please, and your
Aye.
address.
James Ledoux, 812 North Cleveland. This is a great thing. I mean, I think I mentioned at the introduction about how good Kim Street was and how smooth it is. But I just wanted to make sure. I know Austin had made a note last time. Maybe make a note again. We need more speed limit signs on them roads, on Kim and Sarah. But that is a nice corridor when you go around that area. So it's kind of making that district run look little bit better.
Thank you very much. Roll call vote?
Ms. Ellender?
Yes.
Mr. Nazat?
Yes.
Ms. Hardy?
Yes.
Ms. Abchar?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries. Item number 4, public hearing on ordinance authorizing Mayor Danahay to enter into an act of donation with the Town of Evergreen Police Department for the purpose of donating a Motorola mobile radio, ordinance 09-26.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second, and this is for our police department. Our police department has no need for this radio, and it's a value of $250 and much needed by the town of Evergreen. There's no request to speak. Roll call vote.
Mr. Nazat?
Yes.
Ms. Hardy?
Yes.
Ms. Abchar?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Ellender?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 5, introduction of ordinance declaring certain surplus movable and immovable property of the city of Sulphur and providing for the disposal thereof, house and property located at 802 South Ruth Street, ordinance 10-26. And this is declaring surplus movable and immovable property located at this address, not needed for public purpose. Ms. Thorne, do you have any comments regarding this property?
So, back last year, or year before last, when we were looking at properties in order to move the court and the marshal from the temporary facilities, this property had come up for sale. It was contiguous with the property that we already own there on the corner where the Old Time Variety was. So we got an appraisal, and we purchased the property for $89,000, which was the appraisal value at the time. We decided to go a different direction. So the next plan was that we were going to surplus the house and sell it to be moved and just have the property contiguous with the other city properties on that block. And then the church, the Institute of Christ the King Sovereign Priests Incorporated, reached out to the mayor in interest of that property. and that home. And so we got a current appraisal, which came back at $91,000, and we're asking to go into, which will be on the next item, a buy-sell agreement with the church in order to sell them that property.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote?
Ms. Hardy?
Yes.
Ms. Abchar? Ms.
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Ellender?
Yes.
Mr. Nazat?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 6, introduction of ordinance authorizing Mayor Danahay to execute a buy-sell agreement between the City of Sulphur and Institute of Christ the King Sovereign Priest Incorporated, and authorize the sale of property located at 802 South Ruth Street. This ordinance 11-26. The city agrees to exchange property located at 802 South Ruth Street in consideration of $91,000. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Mr. Ledoux, you're in support of?
Nah, I'm good. What she's saying on the first one, on the one before that, kind of answered my question and everything, but
Madam Chair, real quick, I would like to introduce.
James Ledoux, 812 North Cleveland. Yeah, it's a good thing to sell this property. Let's go ahead and do that.
Thank you for being consistent with protocol, I appreciate you greatly.
put it on record.
Mayor Danahay, would you please
Thank you. We
introduce?
do. I have Ken Monet with St. Francis de Sales Oratory is here tonight too. I just wanted to acknowledge him.
Thank you for joining us. Roll call vote?
Ms. Abchar?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Ellender?
Yes.
Mr. Nazat?
Yes.
Ms. Hardy?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 6A, resolution approving liquor license for Kings Point 6 located at 3350 Maplewood Drive, resolution 05-26.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second, sorry about that. Roll call vote?
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Ellender?
Yes.
Mr. Nazat?
Yes.
Ms. Hardy?
Yes.
Ms. Abchar?
Yes. Motion carries. This is public comment. We have several speakers that has requested to speak, and everyone will get their turn. This is the time then you can come up and speak whatever you choose to speak on. It's not time that the council will exchange with you, rather. So, Mr. Bailey?
Josh Baden, 630 Alabama Street, Sulphur. Last council meeting, I actually addressed some issues with water mains leaking that DHH had actually requested for response on. I asked for Ms. Joanne Shire to give me a call to where we could get together and figure out a solution. And I never heard from you. There's also other water leaks that's still going on and pouring into the catch basins. On Timberlane Drive, there's one that's leaking. On Lincoln, the road is actually caving in. Barricades are all collapsed. I guess, and the failure, I guess, for you to contact me back is an issue, is one. Secondly, at the last land use meeting, the land use board admitted to what they did to me at 2209 was actually a problem, and it was a mistake. They should have never done that. And the fact that I guess the council approved it, and then I guess the other issue that I'm having right now is that I was unaware that you changed the whole process of the council meeting with new cards. I was actually missed that, I guess. So I would have liked to have my card as a green card, so I'd be in approval of this man moving forward with his business. I wasn't in opposition against it. So I'm just in opposition of the double standards and the constant, consistent inconsistency with the council and the enforcement department on how they enforce ordinances and things that aren't ordinances.
Thank you. Mr. Ledoux?
James Ledoux, 812 North Cleveland. Mine's just some update. You know, I've been going up and down Maplewood Drive, and I want to say that the concrete that they do have poured looks real good and real smooth. Hopefully when we drive on it, it's gonna be real smooth, but it looks like the finish on it's real good. And it looks like they come along pretty fast with that, so I wanted to give kudos to Austin and them for on that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. DePatta? You pass, okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. LeBlanc?
Eddie LeBlanc, 2412 Roxton Street. I'd like to yield my time to Brandon Dever.
Okay, thank you, sir, for that. Mr. Guidry?
Chad Guidry, 975 Ms. Daisy Drive. I'd like to yield my time to Mr. Dever.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Clefus?
Thomas Lewis Clofus Jr., 153 Summerwood Drive in the beautiful city of Sulphur, Louisiana. And I'd like to give my time to Mr. Brandon Dever.
Mr. Landry?
Jeff Landry, 2330 North Kingswood Street. I'd like to yield my time to Brandon Dever, please.
Mr. Dever, you have time to speak, sir.
Brandon Dever, 6455 Thompson Road here in Sulphur. I'd like to first off, I'm here for clarity and for transparency. I am the Ward 4 Marshal. The general powers and duties of the Marshal: I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the court. He shall execute the orders and mandates of the court, and in the execution thereof, and in the making arrest and preserving the peace, have the same powers and authority as the sheriff. According to revised Louisiana Statute 13-1889, when it concerns the courtroom and the offices, the city where the court is situated shall furnish all suitable courtroom and suitable offices for the judge, clerk, and the marshal. It shall also furnish adequate fireproof vaults or other filing equipment for the preservation of the records of the court. The necessary expenses of operation and maintenance of the court and offices shall be borne by the city or cities or parish or all governing authorities as determined by the respective governing authorities. In December of 2019, Sulphur City Court, Ward 4 Court was relocated from 802 South Huntington to 500B North Huntington. The city sold the property to the Institute of Christ, the King's Sovereign Priest. It was sold on January the 16th of 2020. 500B North Huntington housed Sulphur City Court, Ward 4 Court, Ward 4 Marshal's Office, Calcasieu Parish Clerk of Court, where you get birth certificates, West Calcasieu Chamber of Commerce, Calcasieu Parish Tax Assessor's Office, Sulphur City Council, Sulphur Land Use, and the Sulphur Civil Service. I took office on January the 1st of 2021. I was not part of this move, but quickly found out that it was now my problem and began communicating with the city. The building needed significant remodeling before the hurricanes. After multiple complaints from employees and all offices and the public, I requested that the city get an environmental test done on the building to ensure everyone's safety. It was recommended that all remediation actions taken to reduce the indoor mold spores to an acceptable level as compared to the outdoor levels be performed by or directed and supervised by a Louisiana licensed third-party mold remediation contractor familiar with the required methodology and safety standards. This report was completed on June the 15th of 2021. I requested that we be removed immediately or ASAP. Due to COVID, hurricanes Laura and Delta, there were limited available real estate options that could house everyone and meet FEMA's regulations and requirements. February of 2022, we were relocated to 1551 East Napoleon Street to the modular complex from the corner of Highway 90 and Beglis Parkway. I was not content with this facility. I had major security concerns. I was told that the city was actively searching for an alternative option and was asked to please allow 4 to 6 months, which we all agreed to do. We were there for approximately 3 years. The courtroom was also used for city council meetings, Sulphur land use, and Sulphur civil service. The Calcasieu Parish Clerk of Court's office was also next to our offices. These alone serviced approximately 100 visitors a day where you get birth certificates. There were people in and out of our facility needing to use the restroom or lost. We had 13 dehumidifiers on at all times, attempting to minimize the mold and the mildew. The HVA systems were serviced dozens of times. We had a window unit installed where our IT equipment and records were kept just to keep the papers dry. The service in every building were collapsing beneath our feet. It was a safety and security nightmare for everyone. The courtroom was not a safe room for the judge, staff, or the visitors. One way in and one way out of the courtroom. Defendants and visitors filing civil suits, as well as the staff, were subjected to the elements of the Southwest Louisiana weather. All transactions were conducted on an exterior porch. We dealt with 20-degree weather, and we dealt with 100-degree weather, along with the rain and the wind. This location is right on the corner of Highway 90 and Beglis Parkway, which is the busiest intersection in this city. We also dealt with the railroad traffic noise that was approximately 100 feet away. The noise from the traffic and the trains were horrific. I requested several times to find alternative facilities. We were all patient and understanding. I, Austin, and Mark Lejeune looked at approximately 6 properties and even consulted with a modular complex to be located on the property where the Old Time Variety was located. I believe everyone involved performed our due diligence and attempted to find the least cost alternative solution to comply with FEMA's regulations and requirements. The city advised at all times that they were in constant contact with a consulting company and FEMA, and I know that to be a fact. July of 2024, I was informed that the Masonic Lodge could possibly be a viable option for us. My first conclusion was no, but understood that we needed to move ASAP, and all other options did not work for us. I was not involved with the lease contract or the financial aspect of the transaction. I did assist in deciding the layout and assisting with the contractors entering and exiting the building. During the process, I was informed that the parking lot was going to be gravel or limestone material. I was adamantly against this. This was for safety issues and the fact that we are connected to Sulphur High School, which is the largest high school in Calcasieu Parish and the 7th largest high school in the state of Louisiana. This facility is used for Sulphur City Court, Ward 4 Court, Ward 4 Marshal's Office, Sulphur City Council, land use meetings, and Sulphur Civil Service meetings, as well as any other city meeting that needs to be attended. The parking lot is also used for overflow for Sulphur High football, basketball, soccer, band festivals, as well as any other Sulphur High School event or city. When most people leave our building, they're upset. They're upset because whatever happened in this courtroom, they didn't like. We didn't want rocks being thrown on vehicles or the building. The rain would be a problem, as well as the dust during the dry times. Our building would stay dirty and unsafe. I advised that this was not an option and was told that it was a financial concern. I requested that Judge Shrump utilize a portion of his building fund that was at his discretion. This is not tax dollars, but rather a court cost that he began in 2003. He agreed and decided to contribute $100,000 towards the concrete parking. He sent the city the check and an email. He wanted to ensure that the visitors and staff were safe in the parking lot. There were accusations that he and I were part of some illegal or corrupt plan with the city and the owner of the building. The judge and I are tenants. That's all we are. We're tenants in a building. We made no decisions or had any involvement concerning the rental agreement or the financial obligations. We just wished and we deserved a better, safe work facility for our staff and the public. We moved into the building in late 2025, the same week as the historic snowstorm. We moved snow off of the ramps just to move out of the building. We did what we had to do not to delay any court proceedings. Sulphur City Court and Ward 4 Court and the Ward 4 Marshal's Office have been relocated 3 times in 6 years. We have endured the hardships of packing up, moving, and doing the best to make the best of a bad situation. We are all eagerly waiting on our new location to be constructed in the coming years. This will be our 4th and hopefully final move. COVID, 2 major hurricanes, ice storm, snowstorm, limited real estate that can accompany 6 entities, and having to follow strict guidelines and regulations has been the issue. Negligence, illegal activities, corruption were never part of anyone's agenda. These moves and transactions were approved by the city administration, city council, third-party consultant, and FEMA. I've been an honest and transparent team player throughout this entire situation. I do not believe that anyone has been corrupt, illegal, negligent, or unethical during this entire process. Human error can and will happen. I think we should all ask for a little bit of grace. Those of you who know me, I'm emotional. And it's not because I'm mad, it's not because of anything, but I'm passionate about being the Ward 4 Marshal. Never, ever, ever have I ever been more passionate. So in closing, Isaiah 54:14. My brother Close, you'll be proud.
Yes, sir.
Is a promise of divine protection and vindication for God's servants, stating that weapons formed against them will not prosper and accusations will be refuted. This emphasizes that their security, righteousness, and justification come from the Lord. It is a declaration of victory, peace, and spiritual defense. My hope and prayer is that we can agree to disagree with policy and procedure, but we must be reciprocally respectful to each of our beliefs, complaints, and concerns. We live in the greatest country, the United States of America. We have secured our rights to demonstrate our freedoms of religion, speech, and political agendas. I stopped right there, but I'm saying this because I want everybody in this room, whether if you have a question for me, please come to me. I'll be happy to answer any question that anybody may have. I don't say this because I want anybody to feel sorry for us, but Sulphur City Court and Ward 4 Court, I know y'all keep hearing me say that, it's 2 different entities. We have Sulphur City Court, which is prosecuted by Mr. Lofton and Judge Shrunk. We have Ward 4 Court, which is prosecuted by our District Attorney, Stephen Dwight, and Judge Shrunk. All the civil proceedings that go on here are presided by Judge Shrunk. Those are the evictions and civil suits right there. That's Ward 4 Court. So when you hear me, there's a distinguish between Sulphur City Court and Ward 4 Court, different courts. In addition to that, we've endured all of this, right? We've endured all of this trials and tribulations, and yet we're still up. This is not the best facility. I'll be the first to tell you that. But I'd like to bring you where I was at the old City Hall. I'd like to bring you, which some of you did, the floor was caving in on us. Mold and mildew, security issues. It's my job as the chief executive officer of this court to make sure that that judge is okay. You now have 6 full-time, dedicated, professional deputies that we can handle any situation that we need to handle. We are sitting next to the largest high school in the parish. We have a cooperative endeavor agreement with CalCam Hospital. As soon as something happens at CalCam Hospital, we're on Sulphur PD's channel. We're there. Where else would you want us to be? We are right next to the school. They have bomb threats. They have kids fighting. There's 2,000 kids right there. You got 7, if not 8, fully equipped, knowledgeable, professional guys and girls that are able to help the best police department in the state of Louisiana. We network with every agency from Sulphur Police to Calcahuipere Sheriff's Department to Ward 3 Marshal's Office to McNeese State University. It goes on, and the fire department as well. We've overcome battles that generations have not been able to go through. We have bridged the gap of communication. We've changed the entire landscape how people see law enforcement. I've worked my tail off to make sure that this is a professional law enforcement agency. That's my mentor. He trained me. I want to make him proud, but I want to make you proud. I want to make my family proud. So if there's ever any concern about what my will is, what I've done or what I've said, my name is Brandon Dever, and I'm not corrupt, I'm not illegal, and I've done nothing wrong. For people to accuse me of that is a slap in the face. My grandfather, Mr. Harvey Dever, was the greatest man that I ever knew. And he always called me, boy, it doesn't matter what people say, but it does matter to me. It doesn't matter that I'm a political candidate, marshal, whatever that may be. It matters because I represent my wife, my children, my grandchildren, my brothers in law enforcement, my brothers in this community. These guys that are here, they're here because they came to support me. They came because they care about this community. And we've got to stop all this chaos. He said, she said, they did this. Man, I know for a fact that errors have been made. I've probably made a few. My sincerest apologies to each and every one of you for my human failure. What I haven't done is repeat those failures. It is my job and the duty to be the leader of this organization. And I try to set that example. I'm not perfect. I give you my word that nothing was done unethical or illegal with intent. I probably have a whole lot more to say, but I've probably exceeded the time, and I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean no disrespect. I'm not calling anybody out, but what you see on Facebook, what you hear in a text message or a phone call, man, again, my name is Brandon Dever. My number is 302-0255. My office is right up here. Come and sit down with me, meet with me. I'm as open, honest, and transparent as I get. Thank you.
Marshal Dever, well said. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Does anyone?
I'd like to regain the rest of my time, please.
Yes, sir.
Minute 32.
Josh Baden, 630 Alabama Street.
You heard minute 32.
That's fine. Look, first off, I want to tell Mr. Brandon Dever, thank you for your service. But also, as a public, we have an obligation to take and call things out if things are wrong. And I heard this man say that he had the same law enforcement authority as a sheriff. He sat right here in this room and listened to me give testimony about y'all awarding contracts without putting up for public bid that exceeded the public bid law. Those things were never addressed as a law enforcement officer to the proper authorities. I've also received emails off of government servers from Judge Shrump that says, I'll be willing to give $100,000, but I don't want any record of it. As a taxpayer, if I get copies of that, that's questionable to me. And if we don't question that, that's a problem. That's how our government becomes broken. And I appreciate law enforcement and I appreciate the service to our community, but our community also has a service to make sure that our government is run properly as well. And so the fact of standing up and clapping, look, I get it. And I commend him. But also, on the other hand, some of that was directed at me because I'll be honest with you, I questioned it. I'm the one that questioned it. So my phone number is 318-613-0036. And if anybody has anything they'd like to question me about, call me. I'll be glad to sit down with you as well.
Thank you. That ends public comments. Administration, do you have anything you'd like to contribute to tonight's meeting? Council, do you have anything you'd like to contribute to tonight's meeting? Ms. Ellender, you do?
Yes, I'd just like to say that I've been to a few meetings lately, council meetings and land use meetings, and some things were said that were very inconsistent to me, and it didn't sit well with me, and land use was in agreement with some of the comments. So I went to City Hall and I got the truth about what was being said. And so if any of you want to know what I'm talking about, I'm not going into it. I'm not naming names. I'm not saying what was said. But if you want to know, I've got the proof right here of what was done administratively and what was done by the council. But that's all I have to say about that.
Ms. Ellender, Mr. Nezat?
It's Mardi Gras season, so everybody enjoy yourselves and be safe. Mardi Gras coming up, so laissez bon temps rouler.
Sir? Ms. Hardy?
God bless America. Be safe.
Thank you,
Amen.
Ms. Hardy, much needed. I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. We're all entitled to our opinions. We do not have to agree. We can agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, civility should always rule. Kindness goes way further than ugliness. And so with that, happy Mardi Gras to all of you, and have a good month until our next meeting again. Thank you so much. Meeting adjourned.
I don't let that crap.
Yeah.
Hey, Arlene, how are you?
McGuire. It's McGuire or McGee. Either way. Yeah. I can try to reach out to him tomorrow if y'all were able to say hey. Yeah.
We just wanted, we've done a great job.
Okay.
All the people are on, a lot of the jumps and the sheds on.
Good.
We just wanted to see
That she's going. Okay.
but it does appear that she is.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much for all that help. Yes, ma'am. That was fun.
Wow.
Yep.